Nani ako na njaa?
Mimi.
So unajua wewe tu ndio sija interview leo. Kwa majina?
Kwa majina naitwa Maria naitwa Farid Moyori.
How long have you been in Germany?
Nonsense. Ich bin seit 2017.
Babe, why are you speaking German?
Ich bin seit 2017, habe ich schon gesagt. So.
Hallo.
Erstmal gib Kabuga.
Kabuga?
Nein, Lammkotelett haben wir.
Ja, das geht auch.
Lammkotelett geht auch.
Ja.
Mit was kommt das?
Reis.
Mit Reis.
Kein Pommes?
Mach mal mit Reis dann, ja. Weißreis oder ist das so?
Reis oder Bulgur?
Reis.
Reis.
Ja. Gar kein Pommes?
Kein Pommes, aber wir haben Chips, frische Chips.
Ah, diese Kartoffeln,
ja.
ne?
Ja.
Genau, dann mag ich meine mit Kartoffeln und eine mit Reis.
Okay.
Und Salat auch noch dazu, oder? Ja.
Nee, Salat extra.
Ja,
Okay,
meine mit Salat noch dazu.
Okay.
Oder eine kleine Beilagensalat.
Ja.
Genau, richtig. Ja.
Machst du?
Das war's. Ja, für mich einmal Ayran.
Okay.
Ich trinke gar keinen.
Trinkst du Ayran? Trinkst du nix, was für Erwachsene?
Erwachsene, das ist Haram.
So back to the interview, babe.
So.
Before food zikuje, how long have you been here?
I've been in Germany since 2017.
So I'm going to ask you another question that I've been asking people. Given a chance, would you go back to Kenya?
Give it a chance, I'll definitely go back to Kenya. That's my homeland.
When are you planning to go back?
Definitely I'm going back when I retire. That's my
When you
retirement
retire
home.
or when you have enough investment?
Yeah, that's the thing. Enough investment. Actually, that's quite a very, very complex topic to anybody or to somebody who has children here in Germany thinking of going back to Kenya. Definitely, you have to go back to Kenya once the kids are of age and they are stable here.
Don't you think in Kenya they have also good education?
They have good education, but you cannot like take a grown-up child back to Kenya and expect the child to like adapt in the Kenyan system. That's quite challenging. You can just wake up and take maybe from a 10-year-old child and tell him, you know what, we're going back to Kenya. He'd be like, why am I going back to Kenya? I'm not Kenyan. Why am I going back to Kenya? You're not saying, you're not supposed to be telling me you're going back, you're taking me back to Kenya. No, you're supposed to be telling me you want to start living in Kenya, because me as a parent, I'm a Kenyan by birth. I was born there. They're Germans by birth, but they're Kenyan since they have Kenyan parents. Or maybe those who have like Kenyan parent and a German parent. You can't take this child and just tell him, you know what, we're going back to Kenya. Where? That's not going back. That's like taking them away from their country. Because these children, they are born with Kenyan parents, but they are not Kenyans.
But they're Kenyan because their parents are Kenyans.
Kenyans by parents, but Germans by birth. The first qualification of a nationality is by birth.
So you mean when investing, it's better you invest in Germany and in Kenya as well?
Exactly, that's the thing. Investment should be in both sides, because depending with where your children want their future to be, that's why you should invest heavily.
Another thing is how we don't even know if they are going to relate with Kenya.
That's the thing.
How are they even going to get the investment?
They might take the investment and use it offshore, like how we invest in Kenya and we use it here. You know, that's the same way it's supposed to be.
You mean like the property stays in Kenya, but
and they get the profits from this other side. That's how it's supposed to be, because you're not supposed to like dictate on the kids where they're supposed to settle. Like, you know, like our mentality is totally different because of how we were raised. We are raised knowing that we are supposed to invest on this and this and this. Them, they grow on a totally different system of education, totally different module. So these kids, you cannot even tell them you're supposed to invest in land.
Because they don't understand what they're supposed to
invest in real estate. They don't know how that kind of a concept. Maybe to them, they might think of investing in other types of business. Like here, they tendency is like opening a company. You know, that's totally different with what we call investment back at home. You might call it like a liability to them. It's a business.
Okay.
It's an investment, sorry to say.
Thank
Are you
you.
sure? Yeah. As you can see, eingedeutscht, aber
that-
angetürkischt.
Eingetürkischt.
Eingetürkischt.
This is not eingedeutscht.
Ich bin schon eingetürkischt. This is what you call Iran.
So babe, umekuwa hapa for more than how many years?
2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022,
6 years.
6 years, yeah.
Oh
26
my
years.
god, umekuwa mzee huku.
Brr, that's a thing, yeah, I'm old enough.
And what do you think about Germany all in all? Like
Germany, all
allgemein?
in all, allgemein, one thing you have to put at the back of your head is you have to come here prepared to learn the German language and learn the German culture. You don't take anything personal until you understand the culture, because that's where you start saying some things. You're being discriminated, but this person, you're being profiled, but this person, that is his nature. They tend to ask so many direct questions, like where, how, like, so you have to understand. It's like a German coming to Kenya and he meets, or maybe an European or American or anybody coming to Kenya, and he gets to meet the village kids. What happens? They look at him, it's like
They're
they've
curious.
seen something. Yeah, they're curious. They look at him, it's like they've seen something new. That's the same thing. You come here to, you here in Germany, you go to living in some interior villages or interior estates or something of that sort. You meet some Germans, they've never had a direct contact with a colored person. So what do? They start asking you questions. They're so much curious, like, because of what the media
Portrays about
portrays
Africa.
about Africa is poverty, wildlife, and living wild, living in the jungle, something of that sort. But once you get tackled with such a question, you just be humble, be direct, and educate them. Tell them how it is having that jungle. They don't have that privilege, we have it. Tell them how those issues with poverty are there, and then you try to explain to them how come they don't have them there, because of the system and such things. That's where they understand you better. So, thank you, schön. Exactly. Now we're talking.
Reis habe ich mit eine mit dir noch.
Genau, richtig, das mache ich. Ja. Okay.
Fleisch kochen.
So, I don't need to answer any more questions or be asked any more questions. I'm done.
So it's firearm for you.
Adios.
They're not. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not good like they look.
They are
What
not
else?
good. Hatujai kula waru hizi. How do you mean they are not good? On today's video, I'm going to share some of the things to consider while raising kids here in Germany. Before I dive into the video, let me just say something about myself. Like I said, I'm a Kenyan, currently living here in Germany since 2010. I'm married to a Kenyan husband, yes, and we have 2 kids. I am a mother of 2 girls. The first one is 4 years old, and the last born is 1 year old. Why did I say last born? Because I'm not planning to have more kids. So, we are bringing up our kids here in Germany. Yes, and to be honest, guys, when I prayed for God to give us kids, or when we planned that we wanted to have kids, I never thought of how complex parenting is, leave alone the fact that we are bringing up kids in a different environment from the one we were brought up in. That's even make it even more crazy, because when you're planning to have kids and you don't even have any idea of how you're going to bring them up in this different culture. And let me tell you guys, the Western culture and the African culture is totally different, because the the Western culture gives a child so much power. Like, you're not supposed to punish them. Like, of course you're supposed to punish them, but you guys know how we do it back at home. You like the Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Like, back at home, we tunachapwa viproper. Yeah, you get punished through small beating. I'm not saying like you beat your child so and then they end up in the hospital. No, I'm saying small beating. That's not even allowed here in Germany. And the moment the kids realize that they're not supposed to be punished that way, because as an African, we still do it. Me, my kids, they know chapa. They know chapa. Even the 1 year old, anajua chapa. You stop, ama nita chapa. They know chapa, they know mwiko. I know this is not the kind of parenting you do. If you don't chapa your kids, it's okay. But me, I chapa my kids. And they know mwiko. But one thing I've learned as a mom, raising kids in diaspora, parenting has no technique. Parenting has zero technique. To be honest, guys, my parenting, like sometimes I feel like the way I'm bringing up kids here in Germany, it's like I'm facing a culture shock. Before I go to the point of things to consider, let me just say something. Sometimes parents bring kids into this world and they want those kids to be the people they want. Like, we don't allow our kids to live their dreams. We just want them to follow like a plan and follow that plan for ourselves. So for me, I say, let your child be. Let them follow their dreams. Don't decide for them. This is mostly with our African parents. They want us to be that thing that they want. I think this is going to be a video on a different day. Anyways, I hope you know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, let me get into the point. Some of the things to consider while bringing up kids here in diaspora. Number one is to strike a balance between the two cultures. Like, you teach them about the African culture, and then you teach them about the German culture. So what do I mean by teaching them about the African culture? Focus on keeping your kids connected to their African heritage and their culture. What do I mean by that, or how can you do that? Talk to your kids with your mother tongue, with your language. The language that you use back in Nigeria or back in Kenya, tumia your lugha. Talk to them in English or Swahili. Mostly here at home, for example, we speak Swahili, but we also speak with our kids in English. And we mix with German. Anyways, take your kids back home. You know, we have Africans kids here who have never been to Africa because the parents came here, they got German papers, and they feel like they don't want to connect themselves with Africans. They just want to stay here because they like it. The place is good, and you don't teach your kids about your culture, about their heritage. They just know they are black because they're African and nothing more. Teach your kids about their heritage. Teach your kids about your culture. Let them know where they came from. The next one is let them identify themselves as Africans. Let them identify themselves as Kenyans. Let them identify themselves as Ghanaians. Even if they have the German papers, even if they were born here and they have the German passport, you know, and sometimes you're going to find kids somewhere, they are like, oh, my parents are Kenyans, but I'm German. You're not German, my dear. You are Kenyan as well. It's just because you're born here and you have a German passport does not make you German. Your heritage. You are a Kenyan. You are a Nigerian. You are a South African. Let them know where they are from and who they are. Let them identify themselves as Africans. The next one is, even if you live in a very white-dominated environment like we do now, currently we're living in a German village, and I think we are the only black people around here. Make sure they get opportunities to associate with other African kids. Like, for example, on Sundays we go to church. It's an African church. Let them meet after the church. Let them play around with African kids. Join African festival. Let them meet and associate with other Africans. And the other one is actually discipline them. You know, we are not going to spoil our kids just because here in Germany you're not allowed to chapa. They have to know how to, that where we come from. If you don't do something right, or if you don't respect your parents, kuna kachapwa. Don't beat them like so badly. Chapa kidogo, discipline them. Madam, yes. Anyways, when it comes to the German culture or to the Western culture, it depends with where you are. If you're in Germany, for example, there's this thing like during summer holiday, like all kids or all families have to go for a holiday. Most of our African parents, they don't take their kids for holidays. They take them to Africa, or they just stay at home and enjoy watching TV, YouTube Kids and all that. And then when they go back to school after the holidays, they are asked in school, where did you go for holiday? And they are like, huh? They didn't go for any holiday. So if you're an African parent raising your kids here in Germany, take your kids for holiday. It doesn't have to be so far away. You can go within Europe, or you can go to in here somewhere in Germany where it's holiday, where there is water, where they can swim. Like we have places like Tropical Island in Berlin. It's a very, very nice, affordable holiday destination. We have places like Bodensee. We have places like Hamburg, just outside your village or outside your city. Go for a week or something. You can go to Paris. You can go to Greeceland. When you book those holidays in advance, they're very, very, very cheap and very, very affordable. Yes, take your kids for holiday. Another one is let your kids celebrate their birthday. I know in Africa we also have birthdays, but here in Germany, birthdays are taken like something extra, especially for the kids. Like, make them cakes, let them go to kindergarten or to school and celebrate with other kids. Like, get into the system as well, integrate, make play dates, connect yourself with other parents, of course, who are friends with your kids, and then you can make play dates, meet with those German friends or with other people from a different culture, integrate with them and connect with them. The next one, and this one is, like I said before, let them fulfill their dreams and not your dreams. You know, sometimes you want our kids to be doctors, especially those African parents here in Germany. Guys, if you don't know, education in Germany is free. And for us, like African parents, we want our kids to have the best of the best. We want them to go to school. We want to go to the university. We want them to have master's, PhD, and all that. If it was up to us, we would say go to school, study, and be the best of the best. But you know kids, after they are done with high school, they are like, I don't think school is my thing. And as African parents, we try to force them to do things that they are not willing or they don't want to do, instead of letting them do whatever they want to do. Like, guys, what I mean. Anyways, when it comes to these, when kids here in Germany, they finish school when they are very, very, very young. And what I would like to advise parents who are going through such situation of children not agreeing to go to the university, or maybe they don't want to be better people and you feel like a parent you're failing, I would say let them follow their dream first. They finish school when they're very, very young. If they follow that dream and they see it's failing, maybe they are going to come back and do the other thing that you as a parent wanted them to do. But don't force them to do things that they are not willing to do. Don't force them. Let them live their dream and not your dream. Because I remember back at home, our parents were like, you have to be this, you have to do this, you have to go to school and do accounting and all that, you have to stay away from boys. As a lady, you had to stay away from boys. And then you are on your 27, on your 30s, and they are like, hey, when are you bringing someone home? But you are the one who said I have to stay away from them. Anyways, parenting is a very, very, very complex job. So the next point is finding the right information and resources. How can you do that? Connect with parents who have the right-minded parents who are going to guide you and take you through this process. Because like I said, parenting is super, super hard. And how I'm doing it is not the way you're doing it, but you can connect with right-minded parents who are going to guide you through. And as for you being a parent in a foreign country, you have to do your own research. You have to do your own research. It's so sad that we have some African parents here in diaspora. They don't work. They just stay at home and bring up their kids. Like, they just stay at home, watch TV, watch Netflix, do nothing, and wait for social money. And their kids are just going to school with no plan. They have no plan. Some don't even know how to help their kids with their homework. They're just there. They're just there. So as a parent, you have to do your own research. Inform yourself. Inform yourself about the best schools. Inform yourself about what's the best for your child. You know, if your child, they're not doing good, we have so many people or so many channels where kids are like, they are assisted with their homework. In German, it's called Nachhilfe. Inform yourself. Stay up to date. If as a parent you're not up to date, how do you expect your child to stay up to date? If wewe kama mzazi you are not updated, how do you expect it to work for your child? I always say, I think in all my videos I say information is key, information is power. Wachanga huyo mtoto hata akienda na pahali, that child can say, oh, my mom knows, my mom does this and that. But if you don't know anything and the kids are the ones who are informing you about this and this and this and that, hey, we have to, if you decide to bring up kids in diaspora, be ready to face the challenges. So the next point is racism. Racism, guys, this is a very, very, very wide topic. My next video is going to be about racism, how to bring your kids right, how to introduce your kids to racism. This is a very, very, very wide topic, and I'm going to dive into it in a separate video. But like I said, my kids are between the age of 1 and 4 years, and they are both going to kindergarten, so they have integrated with other people with a different background. Like we have people from Ukraine, we have Germans, we have people from Poland, we have people from Turkey, we have people from China in the kindergarten. So they know already that people are different, and I take them out there. So at this age, maybe my 1-year-old doesn't know, but my daughter Eliana, she knows about the different colors, about the different shades of hair, about the different texture of the hair, about the different eye color. She knows all that. And sometimes it's a challenge when she comes home and asks you, Mama, a friend of mine in kindergarten was asking me why my skin is brown. It's you know, as a parent, you have to answer to that question in a very wise way. Like, as for me, I tell her, like, in the world we have people with different colors. We have people with brown color, we have people with white color. Sometimes they talk even about melanin. I know she does not understand, but I try as much as possible to be positive. And she has not given me a reason to fight for her, but as a parent, you're supposed to fight for your kids. If you realize that your kids are facing racism in school or in kindergarten, go out there and fight for your kids. If you don't know how to speak German, look for someone who can speak for you and go and fight for your kids. Anyways, racism as a topic is coming up in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I'm a new mom, I am a young mom, I'm still making my own experiences. So if you have more points, some other things to consider while raising kids in diaspora, kindly share them on the comment section. Let me know how you do it. Send me some tips. You know, we are learning every day, and I would also like to learn from you guys. Send me those tips, ideas, hacks. Send them down there on the comment section, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you so much. If you're watching up to this far, you're such a darling. Bye bye.